Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. In this video, I want to talk about the death of Roddy Piper, former WWF star, starred in the first WrestleMania and lost to Mr. T and Hulk Hogan. He also starred in the movie They Live, which, if you've seen, in my opinion, is a movie that is a metaphor for gematria. We'll get to that by the end. But if you're new here, what I talk about is the practice of coding numbers into words and how the media taunts us with these words and these numbers because they know that for the most part, the masses are not aware of these skills. Before I discovered them, for myself, no one had taught me. So I'm a self-learned person at this skill, and that's why I do these videos to reveal the knowledge to others. Also, I recently did a video on the death of Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream. I want to show you how Roddy Piper's death might connect to his death as well. So let's just begin with this word rowdy right here. You see how there's the emphasis on rowdy? Rowdy in simple English gematria using the letter place of the alphabet where R is the 18th letter, O is the 15th, W is the 23rd, D is the 4th, Y is the 25th. If you add those numbers together, it sums to 85. And the first WrestleMania was in the year 85. This year, WrestleMania 31 was hosted by San Francisco. And there's a lot of reasons that's interesting. Roddy Piper's death possibly even connects in tribute to that WrestleMania that passed. It also seems to connect to the upcoming Super Bowl 50, also being hosted in San Francisco. We'll get to all that. Let's just take a look back. WrestleMania 1, March 31st, 1985. Hulk Hogan, Mr. T defeat Roddy Piper and Paul Orndorff. So Roddy Piper just died on at the end of July, at the age of 61. 61 years of age. And if you're new here, I've been talking a lot about the number 61. It's been quoted a whole lot in the media, especially since the Charleston church shooting. The word church has gematria of 61. So does the word God in Jewish gematria. And another word that people often associate with God is miracle. Miracle also sums to 61. So Roddy Piper, he has name gematria of 67. That number is specific to the Bay Area this year because WrestleMania 31 happened on a date with 67 numerology. The Golden State Warriors just won the NBA championship. They had 67 wins in the regular season. The word West also has simple English gematria of 67, just like the word satanic. And I just think about that now in light of learning about all this. The English language was crafted in Europe. Perhaps all this was a master plan for one day settling out west, which we're all now living out hundreds of years in the making, His birth name, Roddy Piper, was Roderick George Toombs. Name gematria of 107 and 116. Notice that 116 is 911 turned upside down. Also, Dusty Rhodes just died on the 11th day of the 6th month, June 11th, in parts of the world where the day is written first. 116, a lot like the name Roderick George Toombs. He had a birth number, being born April 17th, 1954, of 31. Again, WrestleMania 31 just happened on a date with 67 numerology, numbers that are significant to him. And again, he was in the very first WrestleMania. 31 is the foundational degree of Scottish Rite Freemasonry. It's also the 11th prime number, 31. There's that name gematria of Rowdy, WrestleMania in 85. 58 and 85 have been coded a lot ever since the recent Lafayette Theater shooting. Everything from Facebook to Mark Zuckerberg's miscarriage to a lot of other stories in between. They just keep coding the numbers 58 and 85. So it's also significant that he died at this time in this wake of all this 58-85 reporting. If you're new here, what I assert, and I have a lot of video evidence to prove my point, is that the world of sports, the world of mainstream media, the world of politics, it's all synced up through this numerology and gematria. It's like a giant web, a matrix of numbers. You can't get it from watching one video. So if you're a skeptic, I respect that. But if you take the time to watch more of these videos, you will see exactly what I'm talking about. WrestleMania has Pythagorean gematria of 50 with the S exception 59 identical to San Francisco. And recall that San Francisco is hosting Super Bowl 50 this year, the year of the Jubilee. Also, America has simple English gematria of 50, and in the United States of America, there are 50 states. WrestleMania 31 took place on March 29th, 2015. Again, the date with the 67 numerology, just like the gematria of Roddy Piper. His death came exactly 50 days after the death of Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream. 50 days later. Again, San Francisco hosting Super Bowl 50 with all these other 50 connections going on this year. I don't think it's a coincidence that San Francisco got WrestleMania 31 and Super Bowl 50. I think that's all part of the numerological connected web I'm talking about. The tagline for WrestleMania 1 was the greatest wrestling event of all time. In Pythagorean gematria, that sums to 153. One of these numbers they love to quote all the time. The miracle catch of fish is 153 fish, which has to do with God. And of course, Roddy Piper just died at the age of 61. Jewish gematria, God sums to 61. Again, Dusty Rhodes just died recently on June 11th. He had name gematria of 50. Just a further 50 connection. Also, he had a last name with 33 gematria. We'll talk about Vince McMahon in a minute and Freemasonry, very important number in Freemasonry. Dusty Rhodes died on a Thursday. Rowdy just died on a Friday. So here's something I want to point out, Truth Seeker. Right now, we are in what is considered the Jubilee. That's in the Jewish faith. There's something called the Super Shemitah. There's a Shemitah year every 7 years. And there's a Super Shemitah year every 49 years, 7 times 7. And the Shemitah has to do with God and forgiving debts. Think about debt in the American dream in this nation. Anyhow, the Jubilee is the year that comes at the close of the Super Shemitah. 2015 is the Super Shemitah. The Jubilee, the 50th year, will be 2016, in which Super Bowl 50 will be played in the Bay Area. San Francisco moved their stadium outside of the city, but they're still the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers, that 49 connection, then San Francisco, Super Bowl 50, everything we've talked about. Do you see how this comes together? If you're new here, I also assert that it's Masonic Zionist Jews, the same people who have their names all over the media, the movies, the music, the sports leagues, from the WWF to the NFL to the rest. So 4950 connecting through the Jewish faith, connecting through these events happening in San Francisco. If you want to come to my blog, freetofindtruth.blogspot.com, you can take the time to read these fully. But in this post here, talking about the significance of the Shemitah and the Jubilee. Also, Truth Seeker, last year out of Super Bowl 49, I said to watch out for the numbers 52 and 144. I've been thinking about that more, and it makes me think about how there are 52 weeks in a year, and in Jewish gematria, the word time equals 144. So perhaps the numbers out of the Super Bowl last year were signifying what is ahead in time within the next calendar year. There's been a lot of coding and news stories with those numbers, as I've talked about much, but perhaps there's a greater significance to it, and it was pointing to a year ahead. The head of the WWF Now, I think the WWE is Vince McMahon, a very Masonic man. Vincent Kennedy, his first and middle name, 33 Gematria. McMahon, 31, like the foundational degree of Scottish Rite Freemasonry. He's born August 24th, 1945, not long after the end of World War II. Date with 96 numerology, like Freemason, like Satanism, like knowledge. Also a date with 33 numerology. Lots of significant numbers from his birthday. 51 connecting to conspiracy and Freemason as well. 77. The American meridian's the 77th meridian. Lots of significance to these numbers here. So, aside from the WWF, Roddy Piper is known for starring in this 93-minute movie, They Live, released in the year 88. Numbers of significance. 88 shows up in words such as Uncle Sam, poison, program. Even the color purple, which is shown in the shades of these glasses. 93 is a very important number to the Zionists, to Thelema, to this nation, to the word propaganda. If you haven't seen this movie before, it's about a man who finds these sunglasses, and when he wears them, he can see the meaning of words behind words that are typically in front of his face, such as advertisements, signs. When he puts on the sunglasses, he sees the true meaning of all these things. We'll close out by watching a little video clip. This whole movie is actually on YouTube if you want to watch it for free. But a lot of significant numbers here, and also of interest, They Live has simple English gematria of 106, just like the word prophecy. And lately there's been a lot of 106 and 61 coding together. Again, Roddy Piper, who stars in this movie, Roddy Piper, died at the age of 61. And if you take the time to watch the videos I've been putting out from the Charleston shooting on, I've been showing how they've been coding 61 and 106 together. 61 having to do with God, 106 having to do with prophecy. And here we find the connection through They Live. So, this post, it's been a little bit loopier than some of my other posts, maybe not as fluid, but I hope you're getting the drift of what I'm trying to present. There's a significance behind all this. Let's close out by watching this movie, They Live, and then let's think about it in light of gematria, the practice of coding numbers and words. So if you're new here, Truth Seeker, I just want to let you know this is a special word, obey. It has simple English gematria of 47, just like judge, just like gavel, just like authority, just like president, just like Republican, just like Christian, just like Whig. Whigs were the original Republicans. And if you're new here, the Republican Party, the Whig Party, they have been dominant throughout history in terms of their importance. Okay, here we go. I mean, I just got to pause, Truth Seeker. Did you just see the words on the screen? Those words are exactly what is done to all of us that grow up in this nation, the United States of America, and elsewhere. That is the programming. That is the message behind all that is given to us. This movie from '88 has a lot of truth. If you've seen it, it's also a wee bit hokey too, but it's got a good message.
What's your problem? I said, what's your problem? How are you today, sir? Okay, how's it going? Fine, thank you. Thank you, sir.
I bet you anything, this guy's name in gematria sums to 33.
Here you are, sir. Thank you. Hey, buddy. You gonna pay for that or what? Look, buddy. I don't want no hassle today. Either pay for it or put it back.
Did you see that? How on the money it said, "This is your God"? Sadly, that is the truth for a lot of people, Truth Seeker. All the people selling us out, almost all of them are doing it for money. They wouldn't be able to do it if there wasn't such a thing as money. That's why we live in this world ran by money. Keeps us on the mad system. All right, Truth Seeker, R.I.P. Roddy Piper, unless he faked his death. Until next time, Truth Seeker. Encore, Truth Seeker. Just want to point out something. When it was reported that he died, they said he died in his sleep peacefully. And throughout that video clip we just watched from the movie, we saw the phrase "stay asleep" multiple times. And I just want you to notice that "stay asleep" has gematria of 123, just like the word conspiracy. And really, truly, the world we live in is very much invested in keeping the masses asleep, occupied, entertained, and doing anything but focusing on the truth of this world. And that's what really needs to change. All right, until next time.